Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for downloading. I'm going to dive right into today's topic. I've been talking to a lot of parents. I got the player progression goals going. The program is, still in works. We got, two clients, but we still moving, still working, still striving to make connections and grow. And I've been talking to a lot of parents, and a lot of parents are really bothered and worried about they putting their athletes in these tournaments, these travel team tournaments, and they're not seeing any results as far as improvement and developing and anything like that. And that's where today's topic come in. At I want to say to all parents, even if you haven't talked to me or you have, or worldwide, whether you're in New Mexico or you outside New Mexico, wherever you're at in the world, you got a player that's playing sports. I want you to know, stop ignoring fundamentals. Okay, fundamentals needs to, have their attention, have eyes locked on, have focus locked on developing, fundamentals. So stop ignoring fundamentals. Okay, because the more and more you pay for these travel teams, and you enter these tournaments, which is all fun. It's a great experience, but in the end, if you're not seeing the results from your player, as far as your son or daughter, or even the player yourself, if you're not feeling like you're improving, the problem is you're not putting focus on uh, fundamentals. You're not putting focus on learning and developing. So I just want to say, stop ignoring fundamentals. Invest in fundamentals. Okay, please invest in fundamentals. It's just the right thing to do. Okay, just as you already investing in these, travel teams, these tournaments. You're investing in, sneakers and uniforms, everything that you need to do to get ready for these travel team tournaments. You should put that same effort and motivation into investing in developing, investing in, just training, learning the fundamentals of your sport. That's the only way that you're going to get better. It's not going to happen. You can enter 20, tournaments, travel team tournaments a year. You can enter 50 a year, go all over the world, and don't have no results because you can't ignore fundamentals of your sport. You can't ignore the learning process, the development process. Is something that just can't be ignored. Okay, and not all, but a lot of us coaches, okay, some, not all, but a lot of us is not really, we're not really teaching that fundamentals, that developing, that learning that needs to be for that player to grow. Okay, I hate to say this, but it's the truth. A lot of us coaches, not all, but some, is not really teaching that developing, teaching that training. Some don't have a program lined up to develop to the train. It just constantly, winter, summer, spring, fall, in whatever order. It's just tournaments, 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 winning, 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 and really trying to get the best player or players. A lot of these travel team clubs, not all, but some, just they're not bowing down. They're not really focused, red dot on, like really laser on getting the fundamentals that their players need to grow. And as a parent, I can understand why you may feel like you've got your, kids in 7 or 8 to 10 tournaments so far this year. You might have done 20 last year. You're just not seeing the results, and your kid is not, feeling like they're learning and they're growing. And that's where I just constantly say you cannot ignore the fundamentals. Okay, you're in, like, this game, the sport that you're playing. You're in it for a reason. You want to see your child's, grow, and if you're a player, you want to grow. You athlete, you want to grow into the best of your ability, whatever position you're playing. And your only focus is just trying to, it should just be fundamentals. But most times, some of us coaches, like I say, not all, our only focus is just winning the tournament. I hate to say that. It's just winning the tournament, trying to get the best players on our team. And that's just the wrong method to have. I'm a fan of travel teams. I love tournaments and all that, but in the end, it starts with developing, training, and fundamentals. Okay, playing for these tournaments, like I say, you got to keep in mind, parents, players playing in these tournaments. These travel tournaments all over the world. Some in your local community, some outside. Like I said, all over the world. Remember this: when you playing in these tournaments, Okay. Regardless of what you've been told or what you read or what you heard, these tournaments doesn't guarantee you playing time. You're a player, whatever sport you playing, you're in a travel club, paying for these tournaments, these sneakers, these uniforms, and these high expensive rooms to stay over the weekend. All that is fun. You create memories, and you got videos and pictures. You meeting friends, and everything is cool. But keep in mind that it doesn't guarantee you playing time. Okay, it doesn't guarantee you playing time. It doesn't guarantee you that you're going to be in the starting lineup. You're going to be the starting point guard, the starting shooting guard, the starting small forward, power forward, center. You invest in all this travel, whatever you paid this. It doesn't guarantee you that. It does not guarantee that you're going to start and you're going to get playing time. I've talked to several players and parents so far this year that have told me that they paid and they kid barely see playing time in the fourth quarter or at the top of the first quarter, and they kid and got in, no more for the remainder of the game or games. Because a lot of these travel tournaments, these things go from Friday to Sunday. Some, they go beyond one day. And I've talking to parents through email, phone. Hey, what's going on? I'm paying this. My son has barely seen the court. My son has barely seen the field. You just can't ignore fundamentals. Okay, you got to have that one-on-one private coaching. You got to have that method mindset to say, I want to work on my game. Travel ball, like I said, travel sports, period. Don't matter what type of ball you playing, baseball, basketball, football. It don't matter. Softball, you playing volleyball, soccer. It don't matter. The list goes on. Pain not going to just guarantee you that. I'm sorry. It's just not going to guarantee you that. And you have to know that. You must know that. All right. There's nothing wrong with fundamentals. The basic of the development, why are we afraid? Why are we timid? All right. Why are we embarrassed to say, hey, I need some training. I need some development. I want to learn the fundamentals. Are we afraid that we're going to miss that spot on the team? They got a tournament coming up in Arizona, or they got a tournament coming up in Florida. Are we afraid to say, hey, I'm gonna skip out on this tournament? I think my kids just skip out on this tournament and really get him or her some one-on-one private coaching, some one-on-one private training in their skill that they need to improve at. Because for some reason, a lot of players that I'm talking to now, you got to really stretch the words out to say, hey, I'm just not, for example, my LLC company, my program, player progression goals. Okay, mostly training, developing fundamentals. But when I'm talking to players or when I'm talking to parents, I just can't say training, developing fundamentals because, we don't need that. We passed that stage. He or she is now playing, whatever they travel ball. They're no training, learning, and developing do not stop, no matter what level of the sport you at. Athletes, great athletes, LeBron, Stephen Curry, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, the list goes on. Okay, Aaron Judge, Mookie Betts. It don't matter. The list goes on. Those players, they train, learn, develop every single day the fundamentals. A lot of them great players that we admire and we watch on television, we follow on social media, they put in the work every single day. And sometimes it's boring doing the same thing over and over and over again. But you ever heard the saying, boring means, great? You're doing the same thing over and over again, but it gets you to greatness. It gets you to where you want to be at. So when I'm talking to parents, I'm talking to players, I gotta, go above and beyond when I'm telling them about my program, player progression goals. Hey, it's just not about training and development. It's about the future. You start here, it's about your goals. It's about improvement. So when you go get into that game or when you're in practice or you're in a tournament, you're much better than what you were before. And a lot of times we just seem to be afraid of that moment to learn those words, learn and improvement and fundamentals. And that's why I say, it don't matter. It don't matter. Whatever term you in, AAU term, it don't matter. When you're not seeing results, when you're not having fun, when you're not feeling, your game, you just think you're lacking because you are. And the more you keep paying for these tournaments and buying these expensive, cool, nice uniforms and sneakers, all that is good. But in the end, it's not guaranteeing you playing time. You may go and travel to Kentucky, travel to Georgia, and only, out of 4 games, you may only play in 2. barely even two. Maybe he played in the second quarter and the third, and that was it. And the coach played the rest of the players that he or she may be believing in. You on the team, you got a jersey, you got the sneakers, you're matching, but you haven't even seen the court. Nobody's looking at you. You haven't scored a point. You barely, can get on the court to even, get comfortable to play defense. So we got to stop ignoring fundamentals. Okay, we got to stop being afraid of the words improvement and development. We got to stop that. Okay. Also, keep in mind, okay, players that's constantly, and this is for the parents as well, but talking to the parents, okay, your kids playing these constantly, tournaments. Your kids, the more and more your kids keep playing these tournaments, you keep signing your kid up for these tournaments. You keep signing your kid up for travel teams. You keep entering these tournaments. You're paying for new uniforms. The more you keep doing that, okay, on these travel teams, you know, you're basically just you're hurting your kid. You're not giving your kid time to grow. You're embarrassing your kid. The more you keep putting him or her in these tournaments, I get it. It's travel club. You get to see the world. But in the end, like I said, when there's no playing time going on, when there's no developing, when there's no improvement from game to game, your kid just out there on the bench, or maybe get in if that team that he or she may be on blowing the other team out. That's when your kids may see playing time. If you're doing that for that reason, you're wasting your money. If you're going to be putting your kids in these tournaments and paying and being a part of these travel clubs and believing in it and doing everything you can to help the travel club, which is all great, why not invest in some fundamentals as well? Because your kid don't have it all. You know, don't matter how long he or she may be playing. There's always room for growth, for development, for improvement. Like I said, the players I mentioned, Mookie Betts, okay, Aaron Judge, Stephen Curry, LeBron, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts. They work on their game every single day, every single night, early in the morning to late night. We may not see it every time on social media. They may not talk about it, but I promise you, they work on it every single day. Just because they're professionals at the highest level, it doesn't mean they just sit back and say, "Hey, you don't think Caitlin Clark work on her game every day?" Yes, she's a popular player. She played for my Indiana Fever. We all knew her from Iowa, all that, but she still work on her game every day. She still look for room to grow. Angel Wilson, you don't think she work on her game? She's a champion, got a statue at University of South Carolina. She works on her game every single day. So as a player, as a parent, that's the mindset you should have. Don't run away from improvement and learning and training and developing. It's not going to hurt you. It's going to help you. I repeat, it's not going to hurt you. It will help you. Please believe that. Please understand that. All right. And as players, if you got parents that want you to go in that direction for developing and training and learning and growing, and you're telling your mom or your dad or your guardian, "Hey, we don't need that. I'm already good. I played middle school ball. I'm in high school. I'm straight. All that. I don't need this local training and developing." You're hurting your brain. You're hurting yourself. You're hurting your future career. You're hurting your opportunity. Okay. And when I say opportunity, I'm talking opportunity to possibly get a scholarship. And speaking of scholarship, it doesn't guarantee you a scholarship as well. The more you keep paying for these travel teams and being a part of it, paying and playing these games, and you may have won the travel team championship. You may be a two-time or three-time club ball champion. You might have scored 40 points in one game. You might have scored 30 in one game. You might have had 5 touchdowns. You might have hit 4 home runs, 7 strikeouts, so and so much volleyball champion, all that. But in the end, it doesn't guarantee you a scholarship. You're not guaranteed to get a scholarship through all that. Okay, you're part of the team. Everybody know you. Hell, you're the best on the team. You're the best on the team, but it still doesn't guarantee you a scholarship. And the goal should always be to succeed to your best ability. You should want that athletic scholarship, so you have to pay so much in college. And the more you keep just staying with travel only, ignoring the private one-on-ones and the training one-on-ones, the working on my shot, working on my run, my speed, agility, quickness, et cetera, the more you keep ignoring these things because you think you're already at the top, you're telling mom and dad, "I don't need it." So mom and dad are going to trust that you don't need it. But some parents not always going to take your word. Some parents going to say, "Hey, we're going to sign up for this." So it's something to think about. It's something to talk about. with your kids. Kids, talk to your parents about this. Parents, talk to your kids about this. It's really important. Like I said, travel team, all that is fun and cool. Experiences, memories, but you gotta have a goal in mind. I want to get that scholarship. I want to play college sports. I want to possibly be a professional athlete in this sport that I'm playing. I want to learn to my best ability. You can do that. Just do not ignore fundamentals. Stop ignoring it. Okay? Like I say, this stuff also, it doesn't even guarantee you NIL deal. I had to talk with one parent. She was like, yeah, my son was guaranteed that he would get an NIL deal if he joined his team. No. Some of these messages and conversation that you're having, with these clubs, with these coaches, everybody not in it for the same thing. Some people is in it for the clout. Some people really in it to help. Some people in it just to get your kid signed up because your kid is the best player, and they say anything just to get them on that team because they want to win that tournament. The coach want to be known. Hey, I coached that team that won 5 straight travel team championships. We won the tournament in Kentucky. We won it in Georgia. We won it in California. We won it in New York. We won it. Some coaches just want to say that. That's not me. I'm not that type of coach. I just want to help you and your kid grow. Okay, I want to help you in, whatever it is, consulting or advice or getting actually on the court, getting on the field and actually working on the game, trying to develop some skills, improve some skills to actually grow, to get looked at, to get, recruited. I can't guarantee your son is going to be playing for the University of Kentucky. I can't guarantee that your son will get drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles or the Atlanta Braves. I can't do all that because that's not me. But what I can do is work with your player, work with your kid. Okay, help your kid grow, help your kid learn, help your kid be the best that they can be at their game. And just pray and hope that they get looked at. But if they don't, it's okay because I'm going to keep working with your player, your kid. We're going to find that need. We're going to reach that goal. No matter how long it takes, we're going to keep putting in the work. And most times in life, you keep putting in work, someone will find you, a team will find you, a league will find you if you keep believing in your craft and putting in the work. Some of the best players in all professional sports wasn't always looked at, but they kept putting in that work. They kept believing what they can with their team, and they got a great story to tell. That could be your player. That could be your kid. Okay, player progression goals is no game. It's no joke. I'm serious about my craft. I'm serious about coaching, football, basketball, soccer, speed, agility, quickness. I'm about that. I'm serious about helping your kid grow. Don't waste your money all on travel, sneakers, and uniforms, and your kid telling you that they're not seeing any improvement. They barely seen the court. They barely seen the field. They didn't really got much playing time. They come to practice every day on time, by the way. Never late, never miss a game, never miss a practice. But when it comes to game, they barely getting in unless the team is up by 30 or up by 20, up by 40. No, you got to stop ignoring fundamentals. Don't be afraid when you see the word development, fundamental, improvement, training. Don't be afraid of those words. Meet those words head on like, hey, we can do this. Mom, dad, I want to do this. I want to be a better shooter. I want to be a better runner. I want to be a better catcher, a better thrower, a better, I just want to be better in all aspects of my game. Sign me up, mom. Sign me up, dad. Hey, we're going to sign you up. Don't shortcut your plan, your goals. Do not do that. Invest in fundamentals. Stop ignoring fundamentals. Invest in fundamentals. Don't shortcut your plan, your goals, because they're so important. They should be important. If you don't have a goal, I can help you, develop a goal. It's okay not to have one. You can contact me. I can help you develop a goal. Then before you know, we have 1 goal, we have 2 goals, we have 3 goals, we have 4 goals, we have 5 goals, 6 goals, 7 goals. Before you know, we got a whole list of goals. Okay, short-term goals, long-term goals. We here, and we ain't going nowhere. That's the mindset that I'm going to bring to your kid, to your player, to your team. It's about effort. It's about not being afraid to get better, to be better. It's about not being afraid to admit that, hey, I need work. I'm not the best runner. I'm not the best shooter. I'm not the best rebounder. I'm not the best catcher. I'm not the best tackler. I'm not the best jumper. I'm not the best pitcher or the best shortstop or the best, hitter. There's things to work on always constantly if you're serious about your game. Just keep that in mind, please. Be open to learning, be open to improving, be open to developing. I repeat, be open to learning, be open to improvement, be open to development, be open to fundamentals. Always have an open space in your mindset to get better at your craft. I'm open to learn. I'm open to get better. I'm open to develop. I'm ready for fundamentals. I love fundamentals. Keep that mindset, and you're going to go very, very far in your craft, in your sport. Thanks again for learning. This today with me, talking, listening in, taking notes. I really appreciate that. Okay. Thanks for listening. Thanks for download. Remember, like I said at the top of the podcast, it's Awareness Month, Mental Health Awareness Month. Alert, alert, alert. Mental Health Awareness Month. Thanks for listening. Thanks for downloading. I appreciate your support. Treat yourself, respect yourself, love yourself. Treat yourself, respect yourself, love yourself. Okay, I repeat, treat yourself, respect yourself, love yourself. God bless. Thanks for listening.